सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। ॐ समस्तजनकल्याणे निरतं करुणामयं नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरम्। Thank you for warm welcome. Today is very wonderful day for all of us here, and also for Chinmaya Mission all over the world. Do you know why? Because today is our Pujya Guruji, Swami Tejomayananji's birthday. And Guruji is our Pujya Gurudev's son. And we are starting our camp on this auspicious day. So seeking their blessings and God's grace, we will try to learn something from our age-old wisdom of rishis. Acharyas, Swami Sharananji and Shankarji, they have already given wonderful introduction to how this CHYK movement started here in Chicago, what is the objective, and what is expected from all of us. At least to some degree, we know why we have gathered here. And whatever was not very clear was communicated in that 3-minute presentation. The million-dollar question: what is the meaning of life? What is the purpose of life? What is the objective of life? So we want to know this, and actually we want to be the winner. So if we know the correct answer, then all that great celebration can take place through this right understanding of what is the meaning of life. And for that, I will just tell you in brief what text we are going to cover. And then we will begin our discourse at around 4 o'clock as scheduled. So there are two texts. One is what Acharya Vivekji is going to tell, and that is a brief portion of text called Vivek Chudamani. The stanzas for which are given in this book, and you all have that. And the other text that we are planning to do is Manah Sodhanam, which is this brief book. Earlier, the plan was Vivek would take this, Acharya Vivek, and I had to decide what I was supposed to teach. And then I suggested, since his name is Vivek, he should take up Vivek Chudamani. Chudamani means crushed jewel. And it is composition of Adi Shankaracharya. It's very big work, very wonderful work, and he will give you the details when he begins the discourse. but we are taking only selected portion from there, which explains how we can actually prepare ourselves to understand the meaning of life. We all want to know the meaning of life, but we should be prepared to understand when it is communicated. Otherwise, even if it is communicated, we will not get it. So that text is part of preparation, the portion that we are going to cover. And in this text also, primarily preparation is covered, but along with that, the meaning, the goal of life is also revealed. This text, Manah Sodhanam, is composition of our beloved Puja Guruji, Swami Tejomanand. So the Sanskrit stanzas are also his original work. And then commentary is also his commentary. Now the meaning of Manah Sodhanam. Manah means mind. And Shodhana means purification. So Manah Sodhanam means purification of mind, which means quiet mind, balanced mind, undisturbed mind. And once we have that, we all know life will be wonderful. So how to arrive at that is revealed in brief. Now when this title of the camp or the theme of the camp, Lifelines, was given, I myself was contemplating on what are the different aspects of this. So of course, as in modern context, lifeline is this, that if you are asked this $1 million question, where should we seek the answer? How would I know what is the right answer? So if I go and ask some shopkeeper, do you know what is the meaning of life? And he comes out with an answer, how can we verify that that is the correct answer? And I understood it the way he communicated. So we really should have authentic answer to what is meaning of life. And for that, I was trying to think of different meanings of lifelines. Just as there is a lineage from parents to children, and the generation continues, we also have generation of teachers where the scriptures, they are passed on from generation to generation. And that is the lifeline of our scriptures. The lifeline of scriptures, teachings, is from teacher to the student. And that lifeline also should continue. As Swamiji pointed out, Swami Sharanji, that when Gurudev asked, I have a lot of money, who is willing to serve? Nobody raised the hand. Remember, if this lifeline is also not continued, lot of things are lost in between. Similar to traditions, culture, values, the knowledge is also passed on. So that is one lifeline. The other is, if we want to know how should we live our life, should be the lifeline of my life? What should be the supporting system of my life? That is also covered in this theme, lifelines. And I'm sure you all can come up with many more meanings. So that is what we are here to discover. What is it that we have to do, how we have to do, how we have to understand. And I think if we understand even few things and try to absorb them, assimilate them in our life, our job will be done. I'll give one example. Let us say we want to drink coffee. And you take the decox, that dark, black, thick liquid. And you can put some cream, add some sugar, and you try to taste that mix. And if you feel that this still has not become sweet, what would you do? Add more sugar. Try to taste it again. It's still not sweet. What we will do? Add more sugar. What we need to understand is, after adding sugar, if we don't stir it, the sugar does not mix with the coffee. And therefore, even though sugar is there, it does not taste sweet. And that is one of the basic problems with most of the people. What we are doing is adding more and more sugar through the scriptures. What we are not doing is mixing it with our personality. And therefore, our nature is different. The way we have been thinking, we continue to think. The way we have been living, we continue to live. And we have a lot of knowledge, which has not become part of our personality. And then people blame the scriptures and the teachings, that they are not doing what they were supposed to do. At the same time, we appreciate individuals who are able to stir this coffee very well. That is why we have respect for individuals who have conquered their mind. We don't mind going to them, bowing down to them, doing seva for them. So we do have appreciation, but somewhere we don't have courage. So in this camp, we will try, we can only try, to see those one or two things that can give greater strength within, so that we can follow what we have learned or what we will learn. With this much introduction, now we will begin with our session. If you guys want, you can take quick 2-minute or 5-minute break. Is that okay? Okay. Go ahead. Yes. Everyone can see me? So if you cannot see me, make sure that I can see you. Because I like eye contact. Yeah, we have a lot of room, so feel free to adjust. Manah Sodhanam, right? Our every session will begin with the peace invocation, Om Sahanam. Most of you are familiar with that, I am assuming. So let us chant that together. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavaditamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. So the question was, what is the meaning of life? What is the purpose of life? So first we have to figure out where to look for the answer. If I tell you some answer, what is the guarantee that the answer is correct? You should have this question. Our Gurudev, he always appreciated questions, and more from youth. He always used to say, don't take anything blindly. Question, but don't just question and discard. Try to look for the answer, try to look for the right answer. And verify that with the wisdom of masters. So, questioning is never questioned. In fact, our masters, they appreciated questions. So if we have this question, where should we look for the answer? So we'll say, oh, I'm going to go on Google and find out what is the purpose of life, what is the meaning of life. We may get 1,000 answers, and that will create another problem, whether the answers are authentic, number one, and number two, which one is the right answer. Because I always tell this to students, we have very short lifespan and we do not have enough time to commit every kind of error and learn from that error, that mistake. So we should know how we can learn from others' wisdom and others' mistake. Everything we cannot do on trial and error. I'll figure it out, and by then, before we know, we'll be 65. From Chinmaya Kendra, you will be in Chinmaya Vanaprastha Sansthan, the old age or senior citizens community. So we should learn from others. So, for Hindus, the basic scriptures that are the foundations, the essence of all teachings. What are these scriptures? I'm sure you all know. Okay, sometimes I will expect answers from you. So, try to respond. And that way I also know whether you all are not only physically here, mentally also here. Okay? So these scriptures are, somebody said, Vedas. Vedas are our foundational scriptures. So the truth is, if we want to find out anything about life, we should go to Vedas. Then somebody would say, then why are we not studying Vedas right now? So the theme of Vedas is given to us in different scriptures in such a way so that we can digest that teaching of Vedas much more easily. And that entire teaching of Vedas, the four Vedas, was given out by Bhagavan Sri Krishna to Arjuna. And you know that is in the form of Srimad Bhagavad Gita. So the Vedas and their teaching was summarized in the battlefield by Bhagavan. So see, if we do not know this connection, we will think Vedas are different, Gita is different. So Gita has one message, Vedas have some other message. So the entire teaching of Vedas was condensed in Bhagavad Gita. Then what is there in Ramayana and Mahabharata? There are some stories. There was some Rama, some Ravana. They fought the war. Rama won the war. There were some Pandavas, some Kauravas. They fought the war. Pandavas won the war. Good stories, long TV serial we can watch. And now animations and everything can come. What does that have to do with me? So actually, that same teaching of Vedas was brought out in more audio-visual form in Ramayana and Mahabharata. And how you saw that 3-minute clip. Right? If somebody had said, please come to 10th CHYK Camp in Chicago, you will say, okay, one line. Instead of putting that in just one line, you could dramatize the whole thing. So the purpose of life, meaning of life, was dramatized and presented to humanity in Ramayana and Mahabharata. Remember, the original theme of Vedas is not lost. The same theme is continued. If we do not make this connection, then we will start saying, oh, Hindus have too many books, too many gods. They confuse us. And you know, we all are Hindu ambassadors. If somebody will come and ask a question, we should know the answers, at least basic questions. I was invited to one of the Hindu meet, it was conducted by HSS, some of you probably know, Hindu Swayam Sevak Sangh. And there was a gathering, good number. I asked them one question. I said, you all have gathered here to represent yourself as Hindus. Who can tell me how many chapters are there in Bhagavad Gita? And you will not believe, people gave so many different answers, 75, 100, 108, all sorts of numbers came. So the ignorance is to that extent. And we want to protect Hinduism. Or we want to call ourselves as Hindus. Our Gurudev's mission was to teach Hinduism to Hindus, to convert Hindus to knowledgeable Hindus. That was his mission. So the theme in Ramayana and Mahabharata is nothing but picturization of the theme of Vedas. See, differently if you want to look at Ramayana and Mahabharata, Ramayana teaches how brothers can live together, and if there is good understanding, how great will be their life. And Mahabharata teaches what will happen if there is misunderstanding, if there is quarrel between brothers. So the theme is very straightforward. If brothers they live together, how happy they will be. If they quarrel, how unhappy they will be. And you see in society what else is going on. Whether you say brothers or neighbors or neighboring states or neighboring countries, they have to learn how to coexist and not fight with each other. You say two companies, anything. That's where we have problem. So the theme what is given there is not something that we say, I have no connection with this anymore. That is our life. We should be able to make this connection with our age-old scriptures. And Lord Rama, in order to practice his dharma as husband, went all the way to Lanka to bring Sita back. This is dharma. So Vedas, Bhagavad Gita, Ramayana and Mahabharata, and all the Puranas, like Srimad Bhagavad Purana, they all have same theme. What is the meaning of life? What should we do with our life? How should we live our life? So all scriptures, their underlying idea is this one. And therefore, even though there is variety of scriptures, so many characters, theme is never lost. And we are very rich in our scriptures, in our heritage, in our culture. We have plenty of options. And these are just few that I have mentioned. And that same theme is given out by various masters in the form of these smaller books, so that we can prepare ourselves to understand what is the meaning of life. Therefore, by studying this, what we are going to do is prepare ourselves to understand what is the meaning of life and live our life accordingly. So what I did was, I made connection between this text and the Vedas. Therefore, if you ask me why are we not studying Vedas, the answer is, through this we are preparing ourselves for Vedas. Not that one day we are going to study Vedas. Whether you study Vedas or Bhagavad Gita or Ramayana, Mahabharata or Bhagavatam, actually we are studying the same theme. Good. Now let us come to Manah Sodhanam. Do you all need any introduction about Pujya Guruji, the author? Little bit I will tell you. Pujya Guruji, Swami Tejomayananji, he is the author. He composed 4 texts together. This is one of them. When he was in San Jose, he was posted in San Jose all the way in Texas. Not in Texas, in California. So, Guruji, he was one of the first acharyas in US. He was posted here. Earlier he had taught 3 batches of brahmacharis in India. 1 batch of students in Siddhabari and 2 batches of students in Mumbai. And lot of acharyas who are within US and India, they all were trained. The senior acharyas who are senior now, they all were trained by Guruji. He has come here in the last few years. I'm sure you must have at least had opportunity to see or listen to him. He is excellent in his teaching, in his singing. He has great devotion for God. He is a Sanskrit scholar and he works tirelessly to reach out to each and every center all around the globe. So there are more than 275 centers in the mission and almost as many acharyas, and he travels everywhere to spread the vision of our Puja Gurudev. This is just a brief introduction about our Puja Guruji. So he has composed this text, Manah Sodhanam. Now, Manah Sodhanam means purification of mind. Why do we need pure mind? Or what do we understand by pure mind? So, generally we say or we talk about people, oh, this person is very pure. Right? We have heard these statements. What do we understand by pure person? What do you understand? Tell me. How do we feel or think that a person is very pure? Have you heard such expressions or not? Have you used such expressions? Yes.
I guess when the person is not really hiding anything, is a lot more less conflicted than most people.
Good. Any other idea? That's very good. Any other understandings that we have about purity?
When actions are pure, when your motives are higher than yourself.
When your actions are pure, motives are higher, the person is not hiding anything. That means whatever is there in the heart, he speaks that. You can see that through his actions, his words. There is no conflict. Another sign of purity is mind is less disturbed and available where the person wants it. You must have experienced, sometimes we want our mind in one place, it is not there, it is somewhere else. All those who have experienced this, please raise their hands. We know this, right? This shows that even though we claim my mind, it is not available to me. And that means there is some confusion somewhere. And normally you must have heard the masters when they say, live in present, right? Living in present, be in present, or keep your hands where your heart is, which means keep your mind and action both together. This will be possible when we can devote 100% of our mind to the work which is immediate. Somebody had asked me, when we attend these lectures, a lot of things make sense. When we come out, most of the things disappear. And if somebody would ask a question, okay, what did you learn? It was very good. Don't ask me anything. Because when we are in the session, our reception is very big. So in 1 hour session, our reception is probably 30 minutes, 40 minutes. Out of that, the retention is even less. And then from that retention, the recollection is even less. So I call these 3 R's. Reception, second one, and then recollection. There itself we will have a problem. What are the 3 R's? That shows mind is not available. So purity means mind is available. Purity also means something a little higher. See, great demons like Ravana, Hiranyakashipu, you have heard of these names, right? You know how great austerity they had performed? For years together. And they had received boons from Bhagavan Shiva and Brahmaji, etc. They had great austerity, great power. But if purity is not there, that austerity can seek somebody else's disaster, somebody else's bad, what should I say, something bad about other. Like Bhasmasura. He said, give me that boon so that I can put my hand on anyone and that person will die. So he put forth so much effort, gathered such power to do what? To destroy others. That is impure mind. Between Pandavas and Kauravas, you know what was the difference? Pandavas also had weaknesses. But Kauravas had wickedness. We all have weaknesses. We should not have wickedness. We should try our best to help others in whichever way we can. So pure mind, otherwise it is known as pure heart, is where such bad feelings are not there, distractions are not there, concentration is there. In scriptures, another example is given. If there is a sun, and that sun is allowed to get reflected in a bucket of water. You have a bucket of water, keep it in the sun. And we will see the sun getting reflected there. Now if that reflection is disturbed, because the water is disturbed, the sunlight which is reflected will not be clear. So our conscience, if you want to call, which is expression of that total consciousness, will not be able to reflect properly if our mind is disturbed. And that is why there is difference between different individuals. And the second aspect is, if that water is muddy, has a lot of dirt, then also we will not be able to reflect that light through our personality. And so we need to take care of both these issues. These two are called impurities of mind. The dirt and the disturbance. The dirt is in the form of hatred, greed, jealousy, and all those other things that we know, anger, frustration, etc. And the disturbance is in the form of mind not being available. And we need to take care of both these issues, and this text takes care of that. So at least we will know where the problem is and how to handle it. With this much introduction, we will begin the text. Okay? Open up to page number 5. That is stanza number 1. So what we will do is, I will chant the stanza and you repeat after me. The Sanskrit is there and transliteration is also there. And then we will read together. Repeat after me. Paramatma Dvayanandaha Sarvabhutasthitopiha Ajñānenāvruto drashtaha Tathaiva ca manomalaihi. Together. Paramatma Dvayanandaha Sarvabhutasthitopiha Ajñānenāvruto drashtaha Tathaiva ca manomalaihi. When you chant the shloka, try to put your total energy behind. Do not chant. The next person also cannot hear. Okay? And don't worry, even if you make mistakes. We will correct it. There is nothing wrong. This is how we have to learn. Right? Yes? Good. So, what is this stanza? Are you guys used to this kind of... You have attended yajnas where stanzas are being chanted, right? If you are not introduced, understand this is your first experience. Because in our mission, this is how all the yajnas and camps are conducted. If it is just 1 or 2 days satsang, it may be different, but otherwise, generally this is how the practice is. Our Puja Gurudev started this way. So, see, the first stanza itself tells so many things. What is indicated? What is God? Number 1. Number 2, where He is available. Let us first concentrate on these 2 aspects. You ask people what is your understanding of God? And I can tell you, if I ask all students here, we will get at least 10 different answers. Should we try? Tell me, what are the different understandings that people have about God? Just one or two. Let's see. Do you believe in God? How many of you believe in God? Good. So at least we can go to the real question then. What is your understanding of God? How many of you think He is sitting somewhere up in the sky? Nobody thinks that. Where is He? Is He everywhere? How many of you think He is everywhere? You all think. Where do we see Him? Where do we recognize Him? Nowhere. Right? So we say He is everywhere, but then immediately we say, I don't know where He is. But He is everywhere. How can a thing be everywhere? Or what thing can be everywhere? And in which way? See, unless we think, we will never get any answers. We need to know how to think also. Is God in this table? Yes? How? We have to figure this out. See, so the stanza, otherwise, yes, God is everywhere and we are not able to do this. Okay, we can move on. The idea is, if somebody has said something, or if we have understood that He is everywhere, how? You have heard of Swami Vivekananda, right? He was so passionate about knowing God, he used to catch every Mahatma and ask only one question. Have you seen God? And Chicago is very well known for Swami Vivekananda. The whole movement of Swami Vivekananda was known to the world from Chicago. Otherwise, he was also very ordinary sannyasi. Nobody even knew about him. When he met Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, he asked the same question. Have you seen God? You know what was his answer? He said, yes. I see Him more clearly than I see you. And I am sure Swami Vivekananda would have looked around to see if somebody else is there. Where is that God? In which form He is available? Or if He is formless, as what He is available? Just by saying God is everywhere, we don't get anything out of it. Trust me. So let's do some thinking on this one. What is meant by Paramatma Advayanandaha Sarva Bhuta Sthitopi? It is said, even though this Paramatma is God, He is available everywhere, in all beings, all things. And the reading you can do later. Just pay attention. What is His nature? Because if I am looking for the form of Rama or Krishna, Shiva, Narayana, Devi, Ganesha, we are not going to see Him everywhere. And somebody else is going to object. You are looking for this God, I am looking for somebody else. So here the nature of God is given. Advaya Ananda. Advaya means non-dual, Ananda means bliss. So what is the nature of God? Non-dual bliss. That is why all our Swami's names, they are Ananda. Like Vivekananda, Chinmaya, Tejomayananda, Sharanananda, like that. Ananda. So Paramatma's nature is Ananda Swarupa, blissful. And what kind of bliss? Advaya, non-dual. What do we mean by non-dual? What do you understand by the word non-dual? Somebody from here? Just tell me literal meaning of non-dual. What do you understand? So what does that mean? One God?
There's no separation between one and the other, it's just all one.
Okay, so there is one God without separation, without distinction. Without distinction in objects. That means there is no separate God in this book and in this table and in these bodies and in this body. Then in which form it is available here also, everywhere. What would its nature be? Bliss. Now what is this bliss in this table or in this class? Go ahead, don't hesitate. All attempts are good.
Does it have to be the table?
We are saying everywhere, right?
Yeah. But
So,
does it have to be an object?
If we discard objects, it cannot be everywhere then. Correct? Because if you all go out from this hall, we'll say God is not here anymore. And because then what is remaining is only objects. Do you like this format or do you want just me to go on talking? I'd like you to tell me what is your understanding and then we will work together. Okay, I'll begin with you. Now the question is, if God is everywhere, He should be in each object. Right? Even when there is no object, for example, let's say between me and you, there is so much space. Space is another object. Object does not mean only formful object. Between us also, where there seems to be a gap, is God there or not?
Yes.
It has to be there. Otherwise, He is not all-pervading anymore. Then it will be back to that He is sitting somewhere. So, it's not specific objects as such. Everywhere He is available. In which way? So the scriptures, okay, I will continue now. So the scriptures, they say, He is available as existence of each thing. For example, this mic here, right? This is all steel. When I say this is mic, what I am actually referring to is steel. But the expression that I use is mic. And when I touch this, I say this is a cup, but it is glass, right? So I am referring to one thing, but essentially it is something else. Like that, God is pervading in this creation as creation.
Can I just clarification? When you say the cup but edgy glass, you mean the material, not the fact that it's something on a cup?
Yeah.
Okay. I was just wondering.
Yeah, you can, I didn't use the word glass because then the glass as the object and glass as the material would not distinguish the two. That's fine. You can use the other example. This is plastic, right? The belt. So it is belt or plastic. Well, it is plastic in the form which is called belt. Right? So there are two things. In the beginning we see only belt. Okay? When we pay closer attention, we see, oh, it's plastic and belt. And then we realize there is no belt, it's only plastic. Okay? Some more examples. Let us say this kurta. Right? So what is this kurta? Cotton. Cotton threads going crisscross. That is this kurta. So now there are two things here. Kurta and cotton threads. True or false? False. Because if you remove all cotton threads, where is kurta? There is no kurta if you remove all cotton threads, right? So now there is only cotton. Earlier what was the understanding? Only kurta. Then we came to cotton and kurta. Then what is our understanding? Only cotton. Like that, our earlier understanding is, I see only world. Then the next understanding is, there is world and there is God. And what is the next understanding? There is only God. That is what is called all-pervading. Right? So when I say steel is all-pervading the might, which means there is only steel, there is no might. Plastic is all-pervading the belt, which means there is only plastic and no belt. Cotton is all-pervading kurta, means there is only cotton and no kurta. And God is all-pervading the world, which means what? There is no world. Wow. This is what our scriptures want to teach us. Why do we not recognize it as a second line? Because our mind is impure. And because we did not think in this way. What we did in last 10 minutes, that we never thought. Somebody had a question?
Can you say that God is unperceived?
Yeah, you can say that. He is unmanifest, unperceivable, or imperceptible.
I was thinking, like, if you say that God is everywhere, every person, everything in the world is condensed to God, as a form of God, then why does everyone have their own way or different things? Everyone is different than each other.
That is the second line. That's the second line. So pay attention to the second line. Ajnanena avruto adrashtaha. Because that God is as though covered in our understanding by ignorance, not knowing. We proved that, right? what we are seeing is cotton, but we refer to it as kurta. Why? Because nobody pointed that thing out to us yet. So when somebody points it out and it registers, well, then we will not forget. Let us say there is a person who has a ring. One ring is copper ring and another is golden ring. And this person, let's say, loses both rings, means misplaced somewhere in the house. What is his first concern going to be? Which ring he is going to look for first? Gold. Why? Both are rings only. But he doesn't see them only as rings. He knows what this is made up of, gold, and the other is made up of copper. So his attention is not only on the form, on the essence, the substance. Right? So we do know when we should pay attention to substance. Unfortunately, we are not able to pay it everywhere. That is where we lose sight. But if we can do that, we will be always balanced in our life. We will never lose focus because we will be able to go to substance, the essence of everything. And whenever we have confusion, understand we lost the essence, we got stuck to something else. Anytime. Right? Very simple. See, truth of life is very simple. We just don't think. So why that God is not available to us everywhere? Ajnanena avruttaha. Because that God is too covered in our own understanding. Tatha eva, and also manomalaihi, by the impurities of mind. So God is covered by our ignorance and impurities of mind. And therefore, we should put forth effort to remove that impurity. Then I can discover that God right here. And what is the nature of God? Non-dual bliss, right? Advaya Ananda. So when I discover Him here, what will be my nature? Non-dual bliss. What is my problem right now? I am rarely happy, forget dual bliss. Right? Always non-dual unhappiness. That is why always I feel I need this, I need that, oh that person didn't look at me, she didn't smile at me, she didn't call me on my birthday, I am waiting this, that. These are all the problems. Because we think other things are required to make me happy. When I recognize that me, I am the source of happiness. Where is the problem? Nothing can disturb us then. We don't have to run after things. In fact, for such Mahatmas, things come to them. That is what we see in Mahatmas' lives. You don't have to go for anything. Why? Because they have discovered this. So to the extent we can discover this inner bliss, we will be joyous and we will be able to make people around us also joyous. And if we don't have this, we will be miserable and we will make people around us also miserable. That is why we are going to attempt to see what is this impurity, how it can be removed. what changes I can bring in my life. Okay? The first stanza, you reflect on this. Now, for the discussion, I am supposed to give you 2 questions. So, your discussion session is tomorrow at 10, I think 10 to 11 is the discussion, or 10? Yeah, 10 to 11. So, you can write down the question.